You're listening to the Core Factors audio library, spoken versions of Core Factors articles and research. This piece is titled The Emotionally Intelligent Organization Building Culture from the Inside Out. The following narration preserves the original content and context of the written article.
The Emotionally Intelligent Organization Building Culture from the Inside Out. Most organizations describe culture through values, mission statements, or engagement scores. Yet culture is experienced emotionally through how people feel when they speak up, share ideas, or navigate conflict. Every policy and process sends an emotional signal about what the organization values. When those signals align with purpose and people, culture feels coherent. When they clash, trust erodes quietly, long before metrics reflect it. Deloitte's Global Human Capital Trends. 2025 report notes that emotional culture, the shared patterns of feeling that shape how employees relate to one another, predicts adaptability better than most other indicators. As automation and AI transform how work gets done, culture has shifted from control to connection. Building an emotionally intelligent organization begins with awareness, helping leaders and teams understand, regulate, and respond to emotion collectively. From individual competence to collective intelligence. Emotional intelligence has traditionally been viewed as an individual capability, the leader's ability to recognize emotions, stay composed, and relate empathetically. In high-performing cultures, those skills combine into something larger, collective intelligence. This is the organization's capacity to recognize emotional patterns across its environment and respond with empathy, fairness, and consistency. Gallup's State of the Global Workplace, 2025 confirms that teams with emotionally healthy norms, where employees feel respected and supported, report significantly higher productivity and innovation. The American Psychological Association's Work in America 2025 adds that when workers perceive empathy and fairness in organizational decisions, stress and turnover decline sharply. Emotionally intelligent organizations treat emotion as data. They read the signals embedded in engagement feedback, collaboration dynamics, and silence. These cues reveal what people actually experience beneath surface metrics. Just as individuals use self-awareness to grow, organizations must develop emotional awareness to adapt. The 4 quadrants of organizational EQ. Core Factors EQ Accelerator defines 4 interdependent quadrants: self-awareness, self-regulation, other awareness, and other engagement, that describe emotional intelligence in action. The same framework applies at the system level. Organizational self-awareness is the ability to perceive cultural reality accurately. This means acknowledging both strengths and blind spots, understanding where purpose aligns with behavior and where it does not. Transparent employee listening and open dialogue create this awareness. Organizational self-regulation reflects the way a company manages emotion under pressure. When crises arise, emotionally intelligent organizations pause before reacting. They communicate early, clarify facts, and avoid blame. Regulation builds stability and credibility. Organizational other awareness involves recognizing the emotional needs of employees, customers, and stakeholders. This is empathy at scale. It is the ability to understand how decisions affect people beyond immediate metrics. Companies strong in this quadrant design policies that consider human experience. Organizational other engagement is acting on emotional insight through consistent, values-aligned behavior. This is where empathy becomes accountability. Leaders close feedback loops and demonstrate that voices lead to action. McKinsey's HR Monitor 2025 found that organizations integrating emotional intelligence principles into leadership systems outperform peers in retention and change adoption. DDI's Global Leadership Forecast 2025 reached a similar conclusion. Cultures that practice transparency and empathy at the organizational level develop deeper trust and resilience. Together, these quadrants form an emotional operating system. They do not replace strategy or structure. They strengthen both by ensuring that decisions and behaviors align with human needs. Emotion as a cultural data source. Despite advances in analytics, Few organizations systematically measure emotion. Most rely on annual engagement surveys, which capture sentiment at a single moment, but not the ongoing emotional current of work. ATD's Evaluating Learning and Measuring Impact. 2025 report found that only 30% of learning leaders use data effectively to inform business decisions. The next frontier is emotional data. Indicators such as trust, inclusion, and psychological safety that reveal whether people actually feel supported. An emotionally intelligent organization continuously collects and interprets this data. Through tools like the EQ Accelerator, leaders can aggregate individual assessments into team and organizational insights. Patterns emerge that reveal where communication feels unclear, where recognition lags, and where leaders may be emotionally overextended or underregulated. This data does more than describe culture, it directs it. When emotion is treated as actionable information, culture becomes visible. Leaders can see where engagement thrives and where repair is needed, turning sentiment into strategy. How emotionally intelligent cultures behave. Emotionally intelligent organizations display consistent, observable behaviors that distinguish them from compliance-driven cultures. They are not softer, they are more strategic in how emotion supports performance. Transparency. Communication is open and bidirectional. Leaders explain context as well as decisions. Empathy. Policies consider human impact alongside the financial cost. Resilience. Teams recover quickly from disruption because psychological safety allows honest dialogue. Inclusion. Diverse perspectives are welcomed because emotional safety enables contribution. Research from the APA and Workplace Options shows that cultures emphasizing psychological safety and empathy experience stronger innovation, engagement, and well-being. Deloitte's findings link these same behaviors to higher adaptability during transformation. In practice, emotionally intelligent cultures are consistent. Employees know what to expect from leadership because the organization regulates its emotional responses the way a self-aware leader would. They acknowledge mistakes, learn from feedback, and maintain composure in the face of uncertainty. For practitioners, measuring and developing emotional culture. For HR, OD, and L&D professionals, the challenge is making emotional culture measurable and manageable. This requires blending analytics with lived experience, so emotional intelligence becomes part of how the organization learns. Key steps for practitioners include: assess emotional health. Use EQ Accelerator data to identify cultural hotspots where connection or trust is low. Integrate EQ metrics. Add emotional indicators such as trust, empathy, and safety to culture audits and engagement surveys. Build shared language. Facilitate workshops that help teams define emotional terms and norms, reducing ambiguity. Link accountability. Include cultural and emotional indicators in leadership scorecards to reinforce consistency. Track progress. Pair EQ data with retention, collaboration, and performance outcomes to demonstrate ROI over time. These practices move emotional intelligence from aspiration to system. Culture shifts when emotional awareness becomes part of every feedback loop and planning cycle. Through tools like the EQ Accelerator, organizations can quantify what was once intangible, translating emotion into evidence that drives cultural growth. Culture that feels like leadership. Culture is shaped not by slogans, but by the emotional patterns leaders model every day. When organizations understand and intentionally manage those patterns, they create alignment between the message and the experience. Emotionally intelligent organizations act like emotionally intelligent people. They are self-aware of their impact, composed under pressure, empathetic toward others, and committed to integrity in action. They integrate emotional data into decision-making and treat well-being as a strategic asset. As technology and change continue to accelerate, the most resilient organizations will be those that view emotion as knowledge rather than noise. Emotional intelligence turns culture into both a human and high-performing system built from the inside out.
This concludes the audio version of this Core Factors article. You can read the full written version and explore related research at corefactors.com.